Here we are in Nanez Studios. My name is Jake Nanez. I'm here with special guests Nathan Stiechan and Julia Franklin. And today we're going to be talking about a book called Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury, discussing how this book has transcended the masses over many generations, how this book has been analyzed and studied countless number of times in English classes across the world. Book just so relatable to every generation since its publishing, and it just has a way of touching people's hearts, and it's got that quintessential feeling of summertime that everyone just longs to feel every year, all times of the year. And it's that feeling, I think, that brings people running back to this book to read it many times. For those of you who haven't had the great pleasure of reading this novel, Dandelion Wine, it chronicles the life of Douglas Spalding and the town of Greenport, Illinois in the summer of 1928. Just a lot of events shake up this town and make Douglas and many others question death and life in general. Douglas ends up really understanding life much more than he did at the start of the summer, and it's really just a huge time in his life of change and growth and just coming into all this new knowledge that we all have to come to know at some point in our life. So, Nathan, tell us a little bit about your favorite character in this book.
My favorite character, I'm going to have to go with Douglas. He's a 12-year-old boy who's just coming to the realization of what life in summer really is. Curiosity just really drives this young 12-year-old boy. He's very curious as to how life works and what's the true meaning of life. He starts the summer of 1928 just as if it was any other summer, but that soon comes to a turn when him, his brother, and his grandfather go on a nice stroll through the woods, and summer just happens to sneak up on him when he's least expecting. And everything, absolutely everything, was there. The world, like a great iris of an even more gigantic eye, which has also just opened and stretched out to encompass everything, started back at him, and he knew what it was that had leaped upon him to stay and would not run away now. I'm alive, he thought. And this quote is just one that just stuck out very deeply to me. This is where Douglas really realizes his curiosity for life, and this is where he finds the true meaning of summer.
So I completely agree with you, Nate. I just really like how summer is personified in this book and really just hits Douglas all with everything that it's got, and it just encompasses his young little 12-year-old mind, and he really sees the light of what summer is, and I just love that quote from the book. It's really powerful. Julia, what is your favorite part of this great novel?
The beginning of wisdom, as they say. When you're 17, you know everything. When you're 27, if you still know everything, you're still 17. This was a really memorable part of the book for me because it reminds me of myself, because I think I know everything at this point in time, but I'm only 16, and it just shows that you have to grow up and move on. And it was just a quote I liked because it related exactly to my life right now.
I completely agree. It's very relatable to all teens, and this is how this book really, everyone can understand this book and relate to it somehow. Whether you're a 95 like Miss Helen Loomis or a young teen like Douglas and his brother Tom, anyone between the spectrum can relate to this book and truly enjoy it to its full potential.
And I'm curious, Jake, I've got a question on my own. What other pieces of media remind you of this great novel?
Well, Nate, the first thing that comes to mind is a movie adopted off a Stephen King novel called Stand By Me. I'm sure many of you have seen it or heard about it. It's a great movie, and it's about four young boys who are about 16, and they just go on an adventure during summer. They, too, just like Douglas, find summer on their adventure, and I just love how these two great authors, Ray Bradbury and Stephen King, both have their own ways of showing their views and their opinions about summer and the coming-of-age tale of children and teens finding summer and really knowing what it means and living summer. So Julia, tell us what evidence in our world today shows this novel's impact on society.
The first thing that comes to my mind is probably the song by Bryan Adams called Summer of '69. It really just shows the novel's impact on society and how everyone just really wants to live their perfect summer and enjoy it and live their life. So in both of these, the theme of having a perfect summer, it's represented both in the novel and as well in the song by Bryan Adams.
I completely agree, Julia. I'm a big fan of that song, and everything you said makes sense. How that one summer that everyone remembers, everyone wants to live that again, and I feel like this book is trying to capture that summer for everyone, as well as this song is trying to capture that summer for everyone, and for everyone that is a different summer at a different time of their life. So moving on, question for Nathan. Does this book bring to mind any personal events or stories, memories of summer from your childhood?
Matter of fact, last summer I was part of a freak accident with one of my good friends, Kevin Frazier. He was only seconds away from drowning to death on Lake Travis. Fortunately, he just suffered a big bruise on his head, and he came out of the hospital just a few days after that. This event really just showed me that you need to take things more slowly and see what's ahead of you.
Oh yeah, Jake, that reminds me. Do you have any personal stories that relate to this book at all?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. Just as Douglas lost John Huff in this book, I too lost my best friend in 6th grade, I believe. He moved to New York. Just reading that chapter about John Huff really brought back all those emotions and feelings that I had when my friend left. His name was Chris. This specific quote from the book really it was exactly how I felt at the time, and I can really relate to Douglas. "John," he cried. "You, John. John, you're my enemy, you hear? You're no friend of mine. Don't come back now, ever. Get away, you. Enemy, you hear? That's what you are. It's all off between us. You're dirt. That's all. Dirt. You hear me, John?" And this quote, it really is how you feel when your best friend leaves you. You feel like they're abandoning you, although they have no say in the matter. I want to end this by really just saying how this novel affects so many people. Whether you're old, young, or in the middle of your life, anyone can read this book and take something from it. Whether it evokes those memories of your summer, whether you haven't had that special summer yet, and this book really shows you how to find that and what that special summer will be, what it means to you. Anyone can enjoy this book, and everyone will take away something important from this book, with its many themes and motifs and many relatable instances and occurrences in this book. That's really what has made it stick out as a classic throughout the many generations of people that it's lived through. And Ray Bradbury has truly created something special here that I think we can all thank him for. But that is the end of this podcast in the Nunez studio. I'm Jake Nunez, signing out.
I'm Julia Franklin.
And I'm Nathan Stiechan.
And we'll see you guys next time.